places me under your wings. Your shadow covers me, promise of love, when my heart is safely undone. Speak to me, Lord, your servant is listening. Over the noise, I hear you whispering, my hope is come, and my heart is safely undone. I found my fortress in you, and my soul is anchored with you. My resting place is in your name, forever safe. Speak to me, Lord, your servant is listening. Over the noise, I hear you whispering, my hope is come, and my heart is safely undone. I found my fortress in you, and my soul is anchored with you. My resting place is in your name. I
So I'm basically gonna be talking about what we did and how it started. So basically, it was Gabe's birthday. That's where it all started, and I think Auntie Melody decided to feed the homeless. It was me, Moises, Felmer, and Gabe. And what we did, well, we had bags of goods, and we just handed it out to the homeless, and they really enjoyed it. They loved it. We would say God bless in the end, and it was great. And it was COVID free, of course, because we like stayed in our vehicle and we just handed it out like that. But that's kind of where it all started. And then Auntie Melody and my mom were like, oh, we should do this more because they need it, you know. So then what we decided to do is the next week, we decided to hand out sandwiches, egg sandwiches, and we distributed egg sandwiches to all the homeless, and they really loved it. And yeah, it was very wholesome. So then ever since then, my mom like had a passion, and it started to just come down to me and then Jay and Shanice. And then ever since, every weekend we've been going to the homeless, and then if we're not going to the homeless, then we're just going house to house. And we would go to all my taekwondo or football or non-Adventist friends, and we would just give them fruits. We would go at their door and just like hello, just talk to them. We're like 6 feet apart, of course, wearing masks. And yeah, that's basically what we did. And I think it was really great and a good experience, and it was good to see everyone's face so happy, and it was good to touch their lives and their hearts. So yeah, that's basically what we did, and I would definitely do it again. But yeah.
What I did for Jesus since COVID. Okay, so around the Christmas time, me, G, and Auntie Lavessa, we went to this community up at North Van, and we gave everyone in that community these boxes that had all these like ingredients and like they could cook with, and all these like goodies that were imported from all over the world, ranging from like Australia and like England, etc. And before we even gave out those boxes, we actually sang carols to them, like Christmas carols. It was so funny because every door we passed by, we got like more and more kids to like sing carols with us. And by the time we were at the last door, we had like a choir full of kids. So it was so great how like we got the community itself like to take part in like, you know, just spreading cheer and joy, especially through this rough time. And it must have really worked because near the end, there's one of the kids' dads just came home from work, and apparently it was a rough day for him. He was really stressed out, and for him to see us helping out his community in this tough time really meant a lot for him, and he said he was really thankful for what we did. So yeah, and just hearing that we're, you know, putting a smile on people's faces, just taking out a little bit of stress from their lives, really makes me feel good.
Thank you, Jay. And what kick-started Gabe's birthday?
All right, so around Gabe's birthday, it was a Sabbath, so what we did was we gave G, Moy, and Lila, they packed like sacks, like paper bags, filled with like nutritious food that were like burritos and sandwiches that were filled with like vegetables and like Beyond Meat, and we gave them water as well, like for hydration. And we took those bags and we just went to East Van, around that area, and we basically just gave them to the homeless. That's pretty much it, you know, just trying to helping the community once again, just looking out for everyone.
And what do you suggest for everyone to do?
What I suggest for everyone to do is, COVID's still around, like hopefully it'll go away, but for now, like we only got like each other, so you just gotta spread God's love to each other in any means possible. In my way was, giving those singing those songs or giving those boxes.
So one thing that I learned after feeding the homeless with Sophia, G, J, and Auntie Lavessa is that the smallest act of kindness and the smallest gesture can really make a person's day. Because I remember there was this one time where we were feeding the homeless and there was this lady that was going by the street and we were just giving out fruits. So we gave her fruits and we actually stopped for a little bit and we just had a small conversation with her. We had like even the smallest conversation with her, and she like opened up to us about her day, and it was just really heartbreaking to hear how like poorly her day was going. She was opening up to us and saying how depressed she was feeling, and how it was really sad to hear her say this, but she was saying that she was even feeling suicidal. But she told us that just talking to her and giving her those fruits like really made her day. And the fact that something so little made such a big difference in a person's like in her day, it just shows how literally the smallest act of kindness just can heavily impact a person's day and how it's going, you know. And as we were giving those fruits, I really felt like God was by our side, and he told us to talk to this woman because she felt very depressed, and the fact that she even opened up to us about how she was feeling can be really hard for someone to, like a stranger, to open up to another stranger, right? So I feel like God was just with us the entire time, and he just helped guide us towards that lady. So that was just my experience.
Aimlessly drifting through uncharted oceans, no compass or course. I go through the motions, go through the motions. I got tossed in the storm and tossed in the wind, but you said take my hand and let go of your sin. He's a shelter in the hurricane, he's a rest amid the waves. As he said the words, peace be still, I marveled and exclaimed, Son of God, you saved me. You're the one that guides the way. Son of God, lead me home. I will follow where you go. I will go. Endlessly, these trials keep on coming in my way. No reason to doubt, your love still remains, your love still remains. I'm the one that you died for, the one who was lost, but you said, do not fear, all your sins will be washed. He's a shelter in the hurricane, he's a rest amid the waves. As he said the words, peace be still, I marveled and exclaimed, Son of God, you saved me. You're the one that guides the way. Son of God, lead me home. I will follow where you go. I will go. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching.
Happy Sabbath, everybody. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath, church family. I want to tell you guys a story about how I know that Jesus really is coming soon. You know, when it was really cold, like back in December, my family and I went out to the downtown east side and gave out toiletries and other necessities along with another group. Now, while we were going door to door, we also had a lot of glow tracts, literature, and I was so excited to hand these out. This one had the face of the Pope right on it. A lady saw it and was like, girl, I do not support this man at all. He literally has systems that cause my sisters to get raped and sexually harassed. And I did not like the sound of that. I let her firmly know that this piece of literature exposed him rather than supported. She was so excited. In fact, she took the entire packet that I had and wanted to tell other people. Little did she know, she was not only giving information that exposed the way that the devil uses the system and try to put God's name in front of it, but also how these things show us that Jesus is really coming soon and that more people will be able to know how and why and when he will come. I hope that us as a church are reading our Bibles and are able to see the signs of his soon coming, and this is a sure sign that he truly is coming back. People want to know. God bless.
What did I do this quarantine to help others? Well, COVID brought out the insecurities from a lot of people, including myself, but this helped my mom to reach out to more people. One of the memorable experiences I remember is helping and feeding the homeless with products and goods. This one woman came up to us that day explaining how not a lot of people have shown up for them due to COVID. This has brought them a lack of resources for them to have during a hard time. And this reminded me that we need to show up for each other, whether they're our community, strangers, even in the hard times, we need each other the most. Happy Sabbath.
Hello, happy Sabbath. I wanted to share a quick testimony. Just during this pandemic. So I was working this new paramedic, a really green paramedic, but maybe the last 2 months. And we probably work once a week. And yeah, he's really keen and we get along, and he's Filipino. Yay. So, we really connected because I'm half Filipino and we both have families. We're both Christians and he's from another denomination. But yeah, so as we work together, sometimes he'll just share with me his family. He has a wife and 3 pre-teenagers. He does 4 children. And he'll just share to me just the dynamics and the ups and downs in his household. And then anyway, so maybe a month after, my kids will call me and he would be sitting here and, I'll just talk to him. To me, it's all normal, but I didn't realize he was actually observing my behavior with my kids and my wife. So one day he said, "Hey, Larry, I really admire how you have your relationship with your kids. I wish I had that. I wish I had that." I mean, to me, it's normal, but I didn't realize there was something there that I was doing, how I had a relationship. So I felt just that being an example, being Christ-like, and that he sees that. He even saw it in other situation on a call, how I would just talking to a patient and how I was just so caring and so yeah, that's what I just want to share. I just want to share that when you don't even think, if it's at work or at school or wherever, your household, there's people watching you, and they're very, and I didn't even realize so that kind of just made me some happiness, and it's like, wow, at least I'm doing something for Christ. I'm trying to do Christ character, Christ-like. So that was a very much inspiration for me to hear that. So it's like, the more I want to be more Christ-like, I want to keep doing more and share more and just share. Yeah, I guess just if they're not Christian, I mean, just watching you, it can even change your mind, even inspire them, which it did for, his name is Leo. You guys will meet him and his family because I told him about Inspire Church. Okay, thanks guys. Have a happy Sabbath. Bye.
Right now I want to focus on my BFF, my prayer warrior,
yeah, we've been doing so much and just wanted to share what we've been doing to inspire you guys to do the same.
Hello, welcome to my home. Some of you may not know, my name is Emmy. I have known Lavessa since we were little kids, and God is amazing because now that we're moms and we got kids and married and all that jazz, God still uses us in amazing ways. Bessa asked me to share you some things of what I've been up to this past year. As you know, we are going through a pandemic, something that's never happened before. Well, at least not since 100 years ago. But anyway, God has certainly used Bessa and I, and has changed my life in this past year. And I know I couldn't have done it without God. We are truly living in end times. And this is the time when we need to we got to be on fire. So how are we going to do that? We really need to get out the Bible and read it. I've always wanted to read my entire Bible. That was my goal this past year with COVID starting, because of course with COVID there were shutdowns, people working from home, there was more time, and I found that God decided to use me by reading. I love to read, as you can see from my books. This is called the 1 Year Bible, and it is amazing. If I highly recommend, go to the Bible ABC bookstore or any Christian bookstore, and if you find a Bible version. Just last week I actually finished reading the whole entire Bible. That's thanks to God, because what inspired me was when Bess and I, it's been now 7 years, it's hard to believe, but 7 years that we have started a United Prayer Group, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That was challenging because those who know me, I am not a morning person. I like to stay up. I'm a late night owl. But when Bessa said, hey, we got to do this, let's start with God first thing in the morning. So I'm like, okay, we'll do this at 5 o'clock. And faithfully, we've been doing this for now, like I said, 7 years. And I think that was our first starting block that got us closer to God. And it's been amazing. And I think that United Prayer has, like I said, has got me going, excited and everything for God. And so the United Prayer started. There was myself and Bessa, and then there's Lyra, and then I have a friend in Victoria. So there's 4 of us that have been doing this weekly. Then we branched off in that my friend in Victoria, I call her on Tuesday mornings at 5 o'clock. This past year also my mom was all like, I would tell her, oh, I get up early, blah, 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 to do this prayer. And she's like, oh, that's nice. Just the way she said, I was kind of like, oh, you want to do United Prayer with me too, Mom? She was like, yeah, I thought you'd never asked. So now I do United Prayer with Mom and Stefan at 5 o'clock on Wednesday mornings. And then Thursday mornings is with Bess and the rest of the crew. Some of you know my son, who's now 23. He's graduated BCIT. He's moved out of the house. He's living with some friends, roommates in Victoria. And so, you know, as parents, our role never ends. And so we have United Prayer with him, and I actually call him. We call on Friday nights, and we have, we pray. I pray for him as a mom. But yeah, I just can't say enough about prayer. So start with prayer, asking God to help you. So I encourage you guys. I cannot express how important prayer is. It is the key that'll get you going, brings you closer to God, guarantee. I also want to share with you some other things that Bess and I have been up to. During COVID, Bess and I hit a milestone in that we had a mutual friend who actually asked that we could start getting a group together and do a Bible study. And then we started thinking out of the box. We thought, oh, hey, why don't we expand this to include our more mutual friends? And so now we have a group of women, and through God's grace, He's helped us figure out a title or group name, and we called it Empowering Women, because yes, we want to empower them. Eventually our goal is to empower them with the Bible and give them Bible studies, but to just go on to different topics, from health, empowering about health, and because we're all moms, we empower them of what we're learning about praying, interceding, praying for your kids. And speaking of which, I wanted to share this book. It's called The 5 Love Languages of Children. This is one of the topics that we recently discussed at our empowerment group, because not many of them knew what are the 5 languages. And I want to just quickly insert one of the moms. She tried that, learning what her son's love language is, and the son has changed in his demeanor, that even his school grades are skyrocketed. The teacher is saying he's well behaved, and his grades are amazing, and he's behaving. So she's super stoked, and yeah, she's also on fire now for God. Originally, we were meeting outdoors at an open park, and then they got stricter with the regulations, so we ended up having Zoom. And you know, technology is amazing. We can still touch base. You can give a call, and we do our weekly sessions on Sunday morning. I just am so blessed with this group, because for a while at first, just Bess and I would just always lead it out. And what we did for our topic for starting the Empowerment Women was about the power of a praying parent. Because we said, what are we going to start with? We want to empower them, and yet we want to lead into showing them about God. And of course, like, hey, the power of a praying parent. And so this is a book that, this book actually is a compilation of several books of the author. Her name is Stormy O'Mardian. And so it's just a compilation of the power of praying wife, power of praying parent, and the power of praying woman. We would read the excerpts, and then we'd share from our experiences as parenting. So we'd encourage them and empower them with different tips we've learned as through the years, because Bess and I are kind of like the moms where we have our kids in the 20s, and the rest of them are the younger, but the other moms have younger kids. So we share the experiences that we've had, and then hope that they, you know, it empowers them and helps them as well, and they can pass it on to others. It was during a united prayer that I started asking Lord, enlarge my territory. Help me during this COVID. How am I going to reach people and give Bible study? I have never had official Bible study lessons. You know, I'm thinking, okay, I could do this. If Moses can speak, I can speak. But anyhow, you know, honestly, God is so good. I think the secret is you got to be willing. If you're willing, God's going to use you. You don't have to be an evangelist. You don't have to be an English major. God will put the words in your mouth. He really, really will. And then He'll bring the people in, because sure enough, I have 2 co-workers who, I guess through our just casual conversations, that they just said, oh, you're a Christian. Tell me, you know, and then just the conversation sparked. And next thing we know, we're booking, this is before COVID actually, sorry. This was before COVID, because we were able to meet in one of the small boardrooms, and we'd have our lunch at the same time, have a mini Bible study within our half hour of lunch. So, yeah, so that just kind of grew into, I have another Bible study. Now, because of COVID, of course, we can't interact one-to-one as I used to, but I use this book, which I got actually from the library. It's called The Praying Woman's Devotional, and again, it's one of my favorite authors. Her name is Stormy O'Mardian. This book I use as a sort of like a starter for those who don't know much about God, and her devotions are really simple and clear, and at the very end she's got a powerful prayer. I've learned from what I remember what my dad used to say. He said, you gotta strike when the iron is hot. So when you sense that someone's interested to learn more about God, you cannot hesitate. You got to just, okay, hey, let's do a quick devotional. And to them, devotional is not as strong as, do you want a Bible study? Because they're like, well, I'm not ready for that. But if you go like, let's do a devotional. And that's more acceptable, I think, that I find. And so, yeah, so this has been very helpful for my coworkers and friends that don't know much about God. And yet, I know they're interested in there, they're interested as well. But I do want to share what I've learned from giving Bible studies is, You got to meet them at their level, and then just ask them, well, what do you want to talk about? Like, how was your week? And then I have a friend where she was like, well, I was really stressed about this. I go, you know what? The Bible has so many promises about stress and your worries. Let's learn about it. And then we just read it, we claim it, and we actually memorize it. And then that helps them. And then even a simple thing of learning a promise, it just sticks to them, just so that they can memorize it and they like it. I just have to say is you got to get out of your comfort zone. And that kind of reminds me, my son did a podcast with this gal from New Zealand who hiked from the borders of New Mexico all the way to Canada. It took 4.5 months. And at the end, Aaron had asked her a whole bunch of questions, and one of them was, what is it that you will never do? And you know what her answer was that she'll never do? She said, I will never be comfortable. And I'm like, wow, what a good answer. Because if you think about it, if we're going to sit here during this COVID time, being comfortable and not doing anything for God, knowing that we are truly living in end times, then that's not good. I think this is a total test for us, especially as Christians. We may not be able to gather physically and fellowship, but seriously, this is the time for us to make that commitment and really be on fire for God by spending your time more on the Bible, study, read, and prayer. Start a united prayer, even if it's a friend or a family member. And then if you're comfortable doing it with your other extended family or friends, then do it, because none of this would have been explored this past year, all these events and activities, if it weren't for prayer. And God is good.